Hey, one more thing before you go. What if everything you thought about personal transformation was wrong? What if the key to designing a life you love isn't about following a formula, but instead embracing adventure, breaking limits, and discovering your authentic self? Stay tuned. This conversation is about to change the way you see your own potential. I'm your host, Michael Hurst. Welcome to One More Thing Before You Go. Today we're joined by Susan Peltekian. She's a fearless explorer of self-growth who has firewalked her way into success. She's embraced 10 days of total silence, yes, 10 days, and dedicated her life to helping others find purpose and passion and fulfillment, which is what we all look for. Susan believes that life isn't meant to be lived passively, it's meant to be experienced fiercely, lovely, deep, and designed intentionally. It aligns perfectly with One More Thing Before You Go, because life can change in an instant. If you've ever wondered how to ignite your own transformation, this episode will challenge, inspire, and empower you to rethink the way you live. And welcome to the show, Susan.
Such a privilege to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Michael.
An amazing life you've had. I always like to start at the beginning. Where'd you grow up?
Toronto, Canada.
I almost detected that in the accent.
Really?
Almost.
Did you catch the A when I was speaking to
I
you
got the
earlier?
A. I got the A. Well, I'm glad to have you guys as a neighbor. I'm glad to have Canada as a neighbor, and I'm glad that you're here. So
Michael.
I appreciate you being here, what you do for the world, and yeah. So again, we'll kind of delve a little bit deeper into your background, and I know I told you I'm a retired police sergeant, so I won't go too deep in your background, but we'll pull
Yes.
out all the good
Sure,
tidbits.
but whatever's required that will help your awesome audience, whatever supports. Because I've
Well,
definitely done a few things. Police officer isn't one of them.
there you go.
Done a few things to get to this path, that's for sure. And thank you for doing what you do, by the way. It's just delighted to hear your story. It's beyond delightful
I'm
and what you do
grateful.
for our mankind.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Yes.
So you grew up in Canada, and what were your parents like? What was your family like? I mean, brothers, sisters.
Sisters, yes, great parents. But the thing is, this is the one thing I've always wanted to do, Michael, and I never believed that I could do it. But I knew it was my path.
You know, it's. I think that we all. I mean, we all want purpose in life. We all, as a child growing up, we all think about what do I want to be? Do I want to be an astronaut? Do I want to be a firefighter, a police officer? What do I want to do? A CEO, an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, a real estate agent, or
Yes.
somebody that changes somebody's life? And it
Yes.
sounds like you wanted to, from a very early age, want to change people's lives.
I did, and to be very honest, it would be my ego to say I'm the one changing it. They are the ones. That's how powerful you are. And if I could share one more thing, it would be that your own divinity. There's a spark of divinity in everyone listening
Yeah.
in. And what I wanted to do, Michael, was to rah-rah people. Very loud voice. I always knew that. Very enthusiastic, naturally a gift from God. And um, you may have heard Zig Ziglar say, motivation doesn't last. It's like bathing, right? You got to do it every day. And this was the exact same concept when I learned these laws from Bob Proctor from the movie The Secret. And I realized, wow, there's so much more than motivation. That's when the whole journey took off in a different way. And come back to you so that it can be. I won't go on because this one line can go on for an hour.
Yeah, these kind of conversations we could talk for days. It's especially when we speak about this empowering people and giving people the opportunity to really understand from their inside out of what they can
Yeah,
accomplish. You know, if
yeah,
their mind, their body, their soul connecting and just moving forward in a good way. You radiate a passion for that and for life. So I think that in itself is defining. Was there a defining moment that sparked your drive for this information? I mean, you did it as a young child. Your inspiration was from a young child. What or who inspired you to be this way?
when I get asked this question, I've had many mentors. The number one human who's always believed in me is my dad, has been and is forever will be my number one inspiration. And Michael, mentorship and coaching has been a true game changer. So I made one powerful decision right before COVID had hit. We didn't know in Toronto yet at the time that I would retire from real estate. That was my last career before I jumped into this, which is not a job really. It's my divine purpose and childhood dream. And one decision, and I happen to attract through what I teach, also the law of attraction, manifestation, the number one Remax worldwide, which by the way happened to be in my backyard. They're a Toronto real estate company. Not Remax. Remax is American, but they're a Toronto, what is it called? Franchise. And they filled up all of my spots during COVID. And the rest is history. Basically, we're here 5+ years later.
And that's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
especially coming from the that era of COVID, it changed so many people's lives in so many different ways that you came out of it with at least some positivity and something that you could give back to other people, which I think is like a brilliant, just brilliant. But I do have to ask you about this because I had it in the opening in the research I did from firewalking to silent meditation retreats.
Yes.
Firewalking, we have to go there.
I hope I don't disappoint. It was easier than it sounds. Should I take that out of my bio moving forward?
No, no, no.
On my
This is it,
websites? Yeah.
it. I think we all have the opportunity. Firewalking can mean many things. We don't have to
Yes.
walk across hot coals to be firewalking. We could be monitoring, walking on live. Our lives can be firewalking on a regular basis or a daily basis, trying to find out, making sure we take the right steps at the right time, in the right
Yeah.
place, in the balance that we've got. So yeah, let's can we jump into that just a little?
Absolutely. That was a great way you used it as a symbol as well. I had done it with Tony Robbins, by the way, but I agree
Now,
that we're also,
and of course, with Tony, doing it with Tony Robbins, what a better way to kind of to step into that, right?
yes, 100%. He's amazing. Absolutely. What what are we diving into now, Michael, with the firewalk?
Firewalking,
Yes.
firewalking, and meditation, and how that changed your life or how it impacted your life at such a point that you were able to share it with others.
My goodness, that meditation at the time was the toughest thing. It's been a few years, very confronting because you learn so much when we don't have this piece of machine, Michael, and we're not attached to the internet. You're out in the wilderness. You can't speak to anyone for 10 days. You need to dress modestly, no makeup. You can't look at anyone's face. Being at the time, I wasn't as kind. I was more polite, if you will, or nice. My dad would call me Mrs. Nice. It was like so rude for me to not say thank you to someone if they opened the door or not have eye contact. It was a very confronting experience, but I truly believe that we grow just like a diamond grows from, well, a coal becomes a diamond. Everything grows due to discomfort. And that was one of the, I think, few things, or many things I should say, I've done that have made me on purpose uncomfortable so that I can actually expand further. And I highly recommend anything that makes anyone uncomfortable to actually embrace it because that is where all of the magic lies. Um, I
Do
hope
you
that
think that was
answers.
the most
Yeah.
challenging experience in your personal growth journey?
No, what I do believe, that's a great question. Thank you, Michael, is that we're infinite spirit. Spirit is for expansion. We're energy. Energy can't be created nor destroyed. There is no status quo. It's a big life. We're not moving forwards, we're moving backwards. So I do believe that at the time it was. Since then, by the way, very recently, and I'm not recommending this, please do it. I'm not a doctor. I say I'm a mindset doc. I'm not a by checking with your doctors for whoever is interested. I did 3 recent back-to-back 10-day no eating, like fasting. Those were the toughest, but I keep doing things that are outside my comfort zone to actually push the limits, and they become harder. At the time, that was like maybe 6 or 7 years ago, that was the hardest thing, absolutely. But then
I
I've done multiple other things since that aren't in my bio.
no, no. I mean, I agree with you. I think that in ourselves and fear of moving forward. What role do you think fear plays in personal development, and in like how do you overcome it? Because I know that most of us, when you embark on a new journey, Even we get stuck in a rut, or we get stuck in a mode. It's we get up at 5, we make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, we then go about getting ready for work, or we do everything is methodic. Yeah, but we're
Yes.
always we're always afraid to, like as you said a minute ago, to step outside the box, basically.
Yes.
So what role does fear play in personal development, and how do we overcome that?
Huge, huge, Michael. I love the questions you're asking. Thank you. I myself lived in victim consciousness for most of my life, Michael, and it likes to come and visit. So it's either victim consciousness, which fear is part of, right? That's the ego, and we're in victor consciousness. So the question you asked is such a great one because it plays the biggest role because most are literally in the story of stuck. You said stuck. Stuck is a story. None of us are really ever stuck. Energy is constantly moving. And if we feel stuck, I don't want to diminish that. Of course, it's possible that we feel it. We could just engage in asking ourselves and being going into inquiry, if you will, compassionate curiosity to know what is it about the situation that is making us or having us feel stuck. And fear, they say, and I think Zig Ziglar's one of them, is false evidence appearing real. So we really always want to go back, Michael, to what we want. And I'd like to come back to you and maybe dive deeper into that because when we create that vision, and everything I teach, by the way, is in the Bible. I don't teach the Bible. I don't teach theology, right? It says, without a vision, the people perish. So once we have that vision, I literally just taught it to all of my groups this morning again, we're pulled by the future fulfilled. We're not living in fear consciousness. But if we're not aware, because awareness is all there is, then of course you just turn on the TV. That's all you can. If you just do
Yeah.
that, we would be in fear consciousness all day, every day. So I can literally go on for days or
What
hours about this alone. I haven't
it,
been asked, by the way, on a podcast about this. Yeah. Yeah.
what are some practical steps that someone like that we can take today to kind of overcome that, to kind of maybe move past that? Yeah, because we used to do this constantly. We
Yes.
changed our patterns in doing this. We'd get up, we'd do our thing, we'd turn the TV. First thing that come on was the TV and the news,
Yeah.
and then we got caught up in the news. And then even before we start our day, my wife and I, before we start our days, we were locked into that. That's what we did. But then
Yes.
COVID changed our lives as well too, because it gave us an opportunity to breathe and to pause. And my wife was working 5 days a week. It was driving an hour or more to work in traffic that was horrendous, an hour or more coming home, stressed, you name it. And she was able to work from home for 2 years, and it changed the perspective on what life means and the work-life balance in such a way that we restructured our mornings. So we don't get up in the morning every morning and immediately turn on the news. Now, closer to the time she goes to work, I have to admit, being honest, we have to turn it on because we need to know traffic.
Yes.
We have to know kind of what's going on with traffic because it takes her uh, we're about 35 miles from where she works. So, and the traffic here is very, very busy. But it instead of getting up and doing that, we got up, we took a cup of tea, we went on the back patio, we watched the sunrise, we listened to the birds, watched the hummingbirds, and listened to the birds in the yard, the rabbits and everything running around, and talked to nature for a little bit. It was amazing. So yeah, I think that we as individuals have to make a choice and take a practical step in designing the life we love. Correct?
I just love what you just shared about you and your wife. 100%, Michael. This is the only way. Otherwise, it's the follower following the follower, is one of my favorites. Earl Nightingale is one of the godfathers of personal development. And both of my mentors, the one in real estate, Mike Ferry, he still has one of, if not one of the biggest real estate company out of Vegas, real estate coaching company. And Bob Proctor, both have worked directly with Earl Nightingale. They were both, their companies were both my mentors. And this is the only way. If we don't design it, it's just gonna, we've already been programmed. Michael, you know this. Every day I'm waking up and becoming more consciously aware. I just shared this with all of my coaching groups this morning. And I say today because I'm back from a whole week off and I wanted to remind them of their divinity, but also how many lies we've been told. Hey, go to work your entire life, take a couple of weeks off. a couple of holidays. If you're lucky, go to the gym and die. Basically, that's the programming around the globe. This one I'm so passionate about, but they're real big lies. And our thoughts become our beliefs. And in the word belief is LIE, right?
Yes.
And they're limiting us, quite frankly. We're allowing them to limit us. But now that we're aware, for whoever is listening into your brilliant podcast, your brilliant messages here on all of your episodes, is to really wake up to their divinity and to know that if they can just put pen to paper, Michael, that's the first step. From there, everything, just like your wife designed it, and I can go over practical should it come up. Supercharged shifters is what I call them. You and your wife have practiced a few of them from
Let,
what you shared. Those are brilliant.
let's do that. Can we
Yes,
touch base on that for a second?
please. So I love what you said. We talk to nature. I think that's the way. That's divinity, God. I use the word interchangeably with energy, higher source, infinite intelligence, universe. It's within us. It's everywhere. It's omnipresent, and literally in nature. That's where we're happy. So the minute you go outside, you'll notice. I just came back from a 60-minute walk myself. Is your nervous system is reset and you're calm and you're happy, which is our natural state. And whoever's listening in, don't believe a word I say. Just look at a baby. A baby is born in the perfect vibration. That was you when you were born. And then all of the stories came in, all of the lies, all of the BS, if you will. So, supercharged shifters, nature is a fast way. Movement is a fast way, whether it's a gentle walk, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's jumping on your trampoline, any sort of movement, any of your hobbies that make you happy. I love that you mentioned meditation, turning these devices off first thing in the morning and last thing at night. Specifically, Michael, when we're at our groggiest state, that first thing in the morning and last thing at night is when our subconscious is at its most receptive. It's, of course, never sleeping. It's awake 24/7. It's hearing everything all the time, but it's most receptive then. So if we can shut these things off, start with an hour. If an hour is too much, start with 30 minutes. Start with 30 minutes at night. You said you live in a state of gratitude and appreciation. That is key. That is literally key, to appreciate everything and everyone. That is fantastic as well. I can go on and on. I will just
Oh,
jump
no, I
into.
think those are great. I think it's an opportunity for people. It's a start, and I think
Yes,
each one of us have an opportunity to to embrace at least a start. If you don't take that first step, then you don't achieve anything. If you just stand stagnant, then you don't go anywhere. You just stay in the same spot. So we have to take that step. These things that we just spoke about, these steps that we just spoke about, is an opportunity for us to move forward. How do we maintain balance between like adventure, contribution, and emotional development as we're doing, taking each one of these supercharged steps that you're talking about?
yes.
Because we have
So
to we have to balance. I mean, we all. See, my mind's racing about 1,000 miles a minute. We have to balance. We have to learn to balance. My wife and I were lucky because we'd already been into meditation and we've already understand chakra. We already done balance. We already understand the connection to the universe. So we took that opportunity to get a deeper connection with that. Some of us have to do what you had just said. You have to stop and pause and take a breath and really understand and learn how to do that.
yeah,
But my wife and I learned to balance. So now she works a hybrid schedule, for example. She works 2 days from home and she works 3 days at work. And it works for us because we get a better balance in life. How do we, as a whole, as a society, how do we maintain a balance like that between what we want for adventure and a contribution towards personal development? Because we all want to move forward. We all want to
yes,
get better. We all want to improve our lives.
yes.
Did I talk too fast?
No, not at all. Not at all. You're perfect. Thank you, Michael. I would say the first step, and I know I'm repeating this, it's a step that I can't tell you how many coaches had me on their podcast this year, Michael. And bless them, they're beautiful humans doing beautiful work around the globe, and they haven't put pen to paper. So I really want to go back to that. We really have so much more in control than we think we are. Like, we're co-creators. So it would start with that. Well, what does a balanced life look like for you? Because what may look balanced for you may not be so for me. And that is the first step. When you write it down, life by design, that create that, what does that look like when you wake up? How do you want to spend your days? And then from there, what you want to do is really step into inspired and aligned action. And it's my favorite framework is be, do, have, and I can go into that because that's one of the fastest ways to feel balanced, because sometimes our lives may not be balanced, but we can bring we are the calm in the midst of the storm, if you will. We may not feel it, but we have that power, and I know you believe it. But it's really gaining that awareness, Michael, first. And awareness starts with this great conversation right here. And then there are so many free resources to take inspired action from there and to keep moving forward so that we can keep the momentum going in the direction we want versus the opposite. But I would really urge people to really take pen to paper with zero considerations of time, of money, of time that has gone by, that maybe, oh, I think it's too late or it's too much. Nothing is too late, nothing is too much. You're on your own timeline,
Right.
not the lies that they taught us.
Right, and help us understand for those individuals that are listening or watching. When you
Yes.
say take pen to paper, would you consider that as journaling, and or writing down what we want to do to be authentic living ourselves, how we would understand what our purpose may or may not want to be, or what our objectives are, or how would we do that?
This is a perfect question. Yes, thank you for asking. Michael, it is journaling, but not journaling in the sense that we hear about it. It's putting pen to paper into what kind of life you want from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. Who do you want to wake up next to? Where do you want to wake up? What kind of contribution do you want to make? What kind of fun life do you want to have? What kind of travels do you want to have? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? And write it all down in the present tense, because the subconscious only understands the present tense. And then remember, creating it is one thing. The second step is repetition. Just like when we were babies and toddlers, we learn how to walk through repetition, and our parents didn't give up on us, thankfully, if it took us a little longer, right? It's the same concept, just like how we started to ride a bike when we were kids. We still know how to, or how we drive, get our driver's license and we never forget how to drive. It's the same concept. So what is most, and I'm not an affiliate of this company and I should be, I've referred them to so many people. There's an app called Think Up, Michael, and we can record our vision. I've done that on it. So once you put pen to paper of everything you want, how you want to feel, how you're dressed, your travels, your legacy, your contributions, you record that on the Think Up app and you listen to it every single day. I was literally listening to it on my walk. So you combine various supercharge shifters. Here I am getting sun, being in nature, getting my steps in, listening to my vision, being in the present at the same time, and being alive and feeling, getting ready for our podcast, of course, and feeling the energy of my wish fulfilled, which is the vision.
Right. Well,
So
what
the
happens
vision,
if we have life sometimes throws a curveball,
ooh,
so to speak, not speaking
yes,
in sports terms, but really
yes,
life throws unexpected challenges at us. How do
yes.
we stay motivated and inspired during those unexpected challenges that like step in our way?
This is such a deep question. How much time do you have? So we don't stay motivated. We don't. I will on paper, without diving into it. I am myself facing a few challenges as we speak. It's not about not having the challenges. It's
Right.
about the work that we do going inside versus living from the outside in. It's very easy for me, by the way, to sit here and talk about it, but it's the practice, right? Just like anything. Michael, this is a fantastic question. I hope this is going to help so many of your awesome listeners. It's living from the inside out. So instead of reacting to what is going on outside, we're actually responding. And we're going inwards to actually use one of our higher faculties, which is imagination, by the way. This ties in with writing our vision. And then we can literally visualize what we want instead of, and athletes, I love that you actually threw the sports terminology. That's fantastic, because most of the successful athletes we know are actually practicing this work. So they're actually visualize winning. They visualize themselves on the Olympics, winning the gold or whatever it may be that they're going for. So that is one way of doing it. Does that resonate? By the
It
way,
does, absolutely. I think that I mean, vision boards are something that we hear about all the time. People will
yes,
see vision
Yes.
boards. They'll hear about vision boards. Some people know how to do a vision board. Some
Yes.
people wonder what is a vision board. I think
Yes.
vision boards help us understand it's a blueprint. It's a blueprint for what we want to succeed, a blueprint maybe where we have come from, and a place where we can go to and how we want to achieve it. And I think
Yes.
visualizing something gives me the opportunity, at least from my perspective, the opportunity to understand what my goals are and how I want to reach them. So help us understand that a little bit.
Yes. So let me go over. I said put pen to paper. You said, is that journaling? I said, it's like journaling because you're writing. That's the
Yeah.
story of your life, the way you want it with no considerations. Okay. That's one. Now you can take images out of that and create it into a vision board. So, wow, I want to, let's say, lease or own this car. I want to own this um, house or these houses, these vacations, whatever it may be. It's usually material stuff, which is fantastic as well. That's great. And it could also be your career path and your contributions and legacy as well in
Yep.
terms of pictures. There's another app, again, I'm not an affiliate. They're fantastic. They're called Mind Movie, and you don't have to purchase that. There are free versions of it as well, where you actually put all of these images instead of a static board or your iPhone, which I also recommend so that you get to see it in a movie. And it's a short clip. Actually, if you have an iPhone, for whoever has an iPhone, and I'm sure Android has its versions, I'm just familiar with iPhone, the iMovie. In a minute, you just add a few clips of the images that you want because the subconscious is constantly and consistently being fed. So we want to make sure we feed it with abundance, with peace, with joy, with love, with harmony, versus what it is already being fed, whether it's by turning on the news or whatever conditioning there is from God knows where, the past.
I think the iPhone is that's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
I use my iPhone for taking notes. I use my iPhone if I'm driving. Well, just to be clear, not while I'm driving or if I'm sitting in the passenger seat. I use notes to say, hey, if I got a thought, I write it down
Yes.
really quick. I say, Siri, take a note. And then it takes the note for me, and I can always go back and kind of revisit that. Taking little mini movies is a brilliant way, I think, of we're all visual. I mean,
Yes.
everybody's, you and I both know people are visual, people are audible, people do both, but everybody likes to watch a movie. It's just a movie about what we want and what we want to see within our lives, right?
Yes, yes. You're basically either going to condition yourself, program yourself, or life has already programmed you. And I love how
Yeah.
you said we're visual and auditory. So you can actually add a nice high vibe song to that as well.
Yeah.
You could even add your affirmations. So you're actually watching the images, seeing your affirmations, chanting them at the same time, and then listening to your favorite high vibe song. It will
Yeah.
literally get you pumped.
Yep. Yep. Get excited. Get excited. What
Get
are some of the
excited.
biggest misconceptions about personal transformation and like the need to unlearn? Because you just talked about how we're as we grow, we learn certain aspects of our life, and sometimes we're stubborn about changing those learning patterns. Sometimes we don't know how to change those learning patterns. So maybe can you help us understand some misconceptions about doing that for ourselves? It does make sense. I think that sometimes we I had to learn it. Everybody has to learn this. I think at some point in their lifetime. When I was faced with challenges of my own, and as we had that conversation earlier, and my community understands, and my life changed in an instant. My life changed in an instant. I was going on 17 years on the job, and I was a sergeant going to take a lieutenant's test, and I was faced with the reality that I may be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. I'm a dad of two wonderful, intelligent young ladies, and I'm a husband. And, my wife and I are together. We're together 36 years. Had to think just a second on that, but it's been a while.
Yes.
And you reflect on things like this, especially when you're built with challenges, and whether or not you want to make a choice in life as to either move forward or stay stagnant. We there were times I was angry, I was depressed, I was resentful. I mean, you name it, it came about to me. And I know that there's others out here looking for the same type thing, even when you're trying to redefine your purpose or define new purpose, or if you're stuck in a job, or if you're stuck in life, how do we do something? It took a lot of patience, a lot of introspect within myself, family, friends, and help. So if someone is feeling stuck and unfilled, from their perspective, what do you think the first thing that they need to do? The first thing I did was ask for help.
I would definitely reach out. I love what you did, and your story is just, thank you for your service, dear sir. That's
Mm.
just fantastic. Is I shared the first step, by the way. There's a caveat to the first step, so I'll share the second step to actually having everything. So it always goes back to knowing what you want, despite, so whoever's going through the worst circumstance right now, know that is happening for you. It's not happening to you. I learned that
Mm.
from Tony years ago, and it's becoming clearer and clearer every day how true it is. We're not victims. Everyone listening in, this is divinely that you're listening into this beautiful Human Souls brilliant podcast. It is by law that you're tuning in, right? And you're not a victim. That our conditioning may have thought made us believe that we act like that. Who you are is a victor. You're God's highest form of creation. You're this universe's highest form of creation. And Bob Proctor would always say that the difference between animals and us, as beautiful as they are two things mainly. We can speak and we can think. Most of us aren't thinking, Michael, and we're thinking just like on autopilot, so it's not actual thinking. And most of us aren't using our word for us, we're using it against us. So if we can just stop that loop, and it all starts with awareness. Of course, it's easy for me to sit here and say that, but let's get crystal clear first and foremost on what the desire is, what the want is, what the juiciest, wildest vision is. From there, we don't get that vision, we get who we're being. So that step number 2 is going to be crucial, Michael, in us making a powerful decision, just to start acting, not faking. I don't like that saying. They
Right.
say fake it till you make it. That's a lie. It's acting as if. So you're going to start acting as if you're not stuck. If you're feeling stuck, write it out. What are you feeling stuck about? But then write out what you actually want, because contrast in the law of
Mhm.
attraction is a beautiful thing. A lot of people cave because they're unfortunately in victim consciousness. They think life is happening to them.
Yep.
Contrast, let's say we have days of sunshine, then all of a sudden we have, or you guys are having a heat wave, all of a sudden if you get a day that's, 80 degrees instead of the 120, right? It's going to be like a ray of sunshine for you on that day, right? The opposite is true, where let's say somewhere is very cold and all of a sudden it becomes warm, or let's say it's sunny every day, we get rain. That rain is happening for us. And what can we learn, and how can we use that as a gift to become that individual? Really, we already are it. It's a twist of words. It's unbecoming all the lies and all of the programming and all the beliefs, the limiting beliefs, if you will, that we have, so that we can consciously become aware of the divinity that is you, and that you are me, and that we are all one.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I think that it's an opportunity for us to be able to grow within ourselves and help. And when we grow within ourselves, we help those around us grow as well. I think personally, I think it's kind of, we're all connected, right? So I think that yeah, I think this works this way. Uh, I could I could talk for, I don't know, another couple hours.
Yes, we'll do
But
part two, part three if it works for you and your
yeah,
awesome audience. I'm being invited for two and three elsewhere, so if it serves, I was going to say it off the recording. I'll say it now since it
well,
came up.
I think it's an opportunity, and an opportunity
Yeah.
to inspire people and motivate people. I think that we all have that within ourselves. You just have to be able to find that little spark, that little fire, and to open that. My spark, my fire was my daughter leaning down saying, "I want you to walk me down the aisle," and
Oh,
it lit a little spark under me, and I haven't looked back since. And for the record, I would have done it for my youngest daughter. I will be there for my youngest daughter because of this, but you always have to have that little spark, right? You have to have that motivation, that inspiration, that ability to see the spark in order to grasp it and then pull yourself forward. So I know that you have some programs and some things that people can reach out to on your website and can help them to reach that and to understand who they are. Can you tell us about that?
yes, thank you so much, Michael. I am super passionate about my programs because I've been heavily investing in coaching, and they're all fantastic coaches, Michael. Something I haven't shared with you, so the missing component was that no one was there daily. So the mastermind is where I am literally with my people every single day, just like you and I are meeting on camera right now. We're in and out 30 minutes every day. It's called the Mind Gym. And basically, just like you go and you work out, I've had a trainer for over 20 years where I work out with him 3 times a week. This is the same concept, 5 days a week there with me. And we're on live camera, and we're literally doing the work that you and I just did. We're just diving deeper because some of them have been with me, I'm happy to say, going on to their 8th year. So before I was actually supercharged with Susan, they started for free. I started charging them, they stayed. I upped their investment, they stayed. I upped it again, they stayed. This January, they renewed yet again. And this is the power of the work. It's like their conscious awareness is growing every day. And the other one is called Manifest Mondays. It was born out of necessity for those who don't want to be either heavily invested with their time or money or be there daily. It's work to be there daily, it's a privilege. They can be with us every Monday. Monday, it's 30 minutes. It's called Manifest Mondays. And you asked about what are one of the lies or the misconceptions is that manifestation takes time. Manifestation doesn't take time, it takes alignment. So that Monday call is for Money Mondays, Mindset Mondays, Mindfulness Mondays. It's all about creating momentum Mondays so that people can start their weeks off with being supercharged, and then until we meet again the following Monday. Those are the two programs. And for those precious souls who want to be in free stuff as well, I offer a lot of freebies. Like every Monday, I do a free Facebook Live, Michael, in our private Facebook group, which is completely complimentary. I did one this morning, and we'll do one on Friday on IG at Supercharged with Susan. Every Friday, you can ask any peak performance, mindset, manifestation questions. It's completely complimentary, especially if they're coming from your end. I'm roll up my sleeves. I'm delighted to be of any service.
That's brilliant. And you have a website,
Supercharged with Susan
and
dot
that's
com.
Susan with a Z.
Susan with a Z. Yes, that's correct. Suzan. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll make sure that there's that's in the show notes and it's on the website, the web page that's dedicated to this episode in specific, so they have an easy way to click it and just come right to you. It's been brilliant. Again, I would like to have you back. We can make a part two, part three, or whatever it takes to be able to help everybody out here in this
Yeah.
community to kind of take an opportunity to expand their life. But this is one more thing before you go. So, do you have any words of wisdom?
Yes, I would. I don't know if they're words of wisdom, but it's one more thing before I go is for you for you, and that's anyone, any precious soul listening in, to really get curious about yourself and your own divinity. This isn't a dress rehearsal. As far as we know, there's one go. I believe we're limitless souls. We never really die. We're always going to be alive in the soul sense, but
Mm-hmm.
physically, we're just here for a brief moment. We created Living to 150 in my Billionaires Club. Even that is not even a blip in the grand scheme of things, right? We created. You're laughing. I may drop dead today, right? So, or may I not?
Let's not.
Yes,
I don't
yes,
want to
I
put the episode up and say this is in memory of. We want to say this is for you to be inspired.
yes, yes, but really, just be the star that you are. Like Bob Proctor would always say, stop acting like the extra. You are the star. Like
Yeah,
just show up as that, because you're literally one of one, Michael. That's you, right? And everyone listening in, that doesn't take away from you. And it took 1 in 400. Listen to this. You may have heard this. 1 in 400 trillion for you to be here.
I've
Like
not heard
pinch
that
yourself.
before, but that's
Yeah,
yeah,
that
that's
makes
amazing.
you're the miracle of all miracles, basically. How do you want to spend your days? How do you want to invest? How do you want to feel? Let's just jump on the cord and swing full out life on your terms. Let's design it the way we want it, not the way we've been programmed to.
That's brilliant words of wisdom. You weren't sure it was wisdom, but it's brilliant words of wisdom. Well,
Thank you,
Susan, thank you very much. I really appreciate
Michael.
it. I think that what a wonderful opportunity we have, and I'll make sure that everything's in the show notes so that we can make it easy for everybody to connect with you. Thank you, and I will have you back on, so we'll continue the conversation.
Would be delighted. Thank you, Michael.
Oh, everyone else there, that's a wrap for today's episode. I hope you found inspiration, motivation, and a new perspective to take with you. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us. It really helps us continue bringing you incredible stories and insights. If you want to watch this episode, head over to YouTube, catch the full video version. We'd love to hear from you as well. If you have questions, show ideas, or think you'd make a great guest, reach out and let me connect with you. This show thrives on becoming an amazing community, and I appreciate each and every one of you for being part of it. So until next time, have a great day, an even better week, and remember, keep exploring, learning, and growing. Thank you for tuning in to One More Thing Before You Go.
Thanks for listening to this episode of One More Thing Before You Go. Check out our website at beforeyougopodcast.com. You can find us as well as subscribe to the program and rate us on your favorite podcast listening platform.